I'm making this video before I go to work again. Um, it's Wednesday though. By the time you're watching this video, it's gonna be Wednesday evening, and so you'll be made it through Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So don't tell me you can't make it through Thursday and Friday. You got 2 more days of the work week left. This week has went by pretty fast, so I must admit. Um, just very busy, very busy. Um, but it's all good. It's all good. Um, Slept pretty decent last night. I did wake up, but overall better night's sleep than the past, I'd say, couple of days though. So hey, anyway, let's get into the main topic of this video. And the main topic of this video is gonna be about taking charge of your career. You have to take charge of your career. You have to lead yourself into the best opportunity as possible for you, or you and your family. And the main message is companies aren't going to do it for you, so you have to just be the person that takes charge of your career and figures out the best opportunity for you and your family. And a lot of people know this, but I think that there's um, I think that some people out there, they kind of just go with the flow. They kind of just, get settled into a job without realizing, like, there's more opportunity out there. There's better opportunity out there if you look for it. Um, I guess that's why for somebody like me, I can't spend like 20 or 30 years at one job. Because I'm always looking for better opportunities. I'm always looking for um, the best opportunity possible for me at that time, you know, and not only money wise, but commute wise, morale wise, what I want to actually be doing wise, the type of schedule I want wise, and trucking home time. You have to always be looking, and I think that's why I tend to change jobs. The longest I've ever been in like one job is actually 3 years. I spent 3 years at at one company, and that's the longest time I ever been. Then I had a stint that was 2 years. Then I was at a company for 1 year. I was at a company for 6 months. Company for like 10 months. A company for a couple of months. Like I'll be honest. I have a mix of longevity at one company, and then I have like somewhat job hopper history. But that's because, like I say, I'm always looking for opportunities. Always be looking. Always be looking. Um, I think if you're somebody that likes to look for opportunity, but you don't want to really be seen as a job hopper, I'd say stay in a job for like bare minimum 1 year, preferably like 2 to 3 years. That way, it doesn't really look like you're a job hopper, but you're somebody that's always like looking for opportunity. Um, or if you just really love your job, there's really nothing wrong with staying in it for 10, 20, 30 years. You know, there's a lot of people that do that. Even the company I work at, there's plenty of people that's been there for like 20 something years, and um, you know, they just like the job. Either that or they just became content with the job, and they may not realize what else is out there, or they don't want anything else. And either one of those reasons is pretty valid. I think that the latter reason um, you don't really want that though. You don't really want to just become so content that you don't even realize what's out there. You don't realize that there's opportunities out there for you. And here you are, been at one job doing the same exact thing. Like, it's not like you got promoted in the job. Like, if you've been promoted and they're pretty much pushing you up the ladder at a company, then yeah, 10 years, 20 years is fine. But I guess with me, 10 to 20 years of doing the same exact thing, just, after a while, you just ready to do something else. Um, you kind of just get to that point where it's like, it's time to do something else. And I think that's what happens with some people. And so, yeah, I think that's why um, my job history, like I say, I can stay in a job a while. Like I say, 3 years at one company, 2 years at another. But I think the other job, like the job I only stayed in a couple of months, that job just wasn't that good. It hardly paid anything and barely had any benefits. The one I stayed in 10 months, that was a pretty decent job. It was just, it was other stuff with that, but that was actually a good job. And honestly, I'd go back to that. Um, one I stayed in for a year, sorry, that was a pretty good job. Yeah, the one I stayed in for a year, that was a pretty good job as well. Um, but I guess there's people out there that they like to change it what they do. They like to change it what they do to make life interesting. Um, Me, eventually, what I really want to do is like be self-employed. But you need savings to actually achieve that. So it's like I just gotta keep on saving. But in the meantime, in between time, as they say, I'm gonna be you know working, working a job I have now. I like it. Um, it's cool. I mean, it can be stressful sometimes, but it's cool. I haven't been there that long though, so you know, we'll just have to see how it goes. But yeah, I just think people sometimes they kind of just get so content with their job that we don't go out and realize like there's more to life than like this one job. There's plenty of opportunities out there. Sometimes the opportunities may not be in your home city, your home state. You may have to move, right? Um, for example, a lot of people um, are moving to like Texas because there's a lot of opportunities in Dallas, Houston, Austin, San Antonio. Those are the main four cities in Texas that are like growing. And so a lot of people are moving there or here because I'm in Texas. And the thing is, um, I mean, I can go into a whole nother because it's kind of becoming a problem, um, especially with you know, Texas advertising that there's no state income tax is bringing a lot of people here. Um, and some would argue that the traffic has actually gotten worse over the last like 5 to 10 years. Um, these cities are filling up, and what's happening is it's causing the real estate market in these areas to kind of boom. Um, Even though housing prices are expensive, there's so many people moving here that it kind of doesn't matter. There's still somebody here that's willing to like buy the homes at these inflated prices. That's a whole nother video, but a lot of people are moving here because of the career opportunities, the career like prospects. Um, and that's just one example. Um, you know, lots of career opportunities in the state of Texas. And so those are examples of people taking charge of their career. You know, now, like I say, if you're moving up the ladder, there's nothing wrong with um, being, you know, staying at one company. Or if you're somebody that just doesn't care about um, their career and just wants to live the simple life. Like, let's say you have a job that's 30 to 35 hours a week, pays you enough to keep the bills paid, um, is pretty low stress, which is what we all want, of course. And, you know, it's working for you. Hey, there's there's nothing wrong with there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, that's the type of job I want for 20 years. Um, and if you're truly happy doing that, there's nothing wrong with that either. I just want you to know, to that person out there, there's always opportunities for you. Um, but maybe you've decided not to look for the opportunities. There's nothing wrong with that. But just know, if you look, they're out there. Those opportunities are out there. So just keep your eyes open, keep your mind open, keep your options open for opportunities. So yeah, um, there is there's a lot of good career advice online, and I think this is um, this is something that really needs to be talked about more, because I think that, and I think also to a certain degree, it's harder to do this if you have a family, because if you have a family, right? You have a house, mortgage payment, family that depends on your income. You're more likely to stay in a job that you don't really care for versus somebody that doesn't really have a family or house or anything. And the reason that's the case is, you know, if you want to move, you have to move your whole family to another part of the city, another city in the state, another state. That's a lot. It's a lot to move. It's expensive to move, especially if you're somebody that has not moved in the last like 3 years. You're gonna find that the rates that you get for mortgages are gonna be a lot higher than the one that you have now. There's a lot of reasons why people just say, okay, we gotta just stay where we're at. It's decent, and I'm content at my job, even though I kind of don't like it. I understand that perspective as well, and so um, yeah, it's just kind of a interesting um, place to be in, and I guess that's why, to a certain degree, I don't know if I want a family. I kind of lean towards no, because it's just so much. It's expensive nowadays. Um, Having to provide for a family is expensive. You know, it's hard. You know, if your household income is not $100,000 a year, whew, it's hard to provide for a whole family. You know, and so I think I'm pretty content where I'm at. I have no family myself, so um, or I mean, I don't have my own family, and so I think that puts me in a pretty good position. If you're somebody that doesn't have a family and you feel like lonely and stuff, oh, I don't have a family, blah blah blah. Just think about the fact that like you can actually switch jobs, you know, pretty easily. It's easier to move around. Um, if you're by yourself, you more than likely don't. Well, I don't want to say that. You might have a house that you live in all by yourself, but if you live in an apartment, Yeah, there's disadvantages to that, but we have to remember there's advantages to having an apartment too. You can move once your lease is up very easily without having to find like a buyer. But I would say if you live in a house or a condo and you live in Texas, you're not going to really have that hard of a time selling if you have to move because of a job. So just keep that in mind. Um, it's just problem people run into is finding a seller, you know, for your home. And then the fact that your mortgage interest rate is going to be higher than it was 3 years ago if you haven't bought the house within the last 3 years or 2 years, whatever. Anyway, I gotta get to work. I hope that you all have a great or had a great Wednesday because this is gonna be uploaded in the evening time. Um, yeah. Have a great day.